Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining me today, and I apologise in advance for any issues with water getting on the lens. I can see that happening already, or issues with the audio, but it is one of these days in which I absolutely love being out, and hopefully by the end of this video some of you may have taken some encouragement and decide to head out and take some photographs even if the weather isn't ideal. But I absolutely love coming out in these conditions. Off to my left here at the moment, I've got this wonderful coastal view, some mountains in the distance. There's a little outcrop of rocks just to my left, which is catching my interest as well. And the weather is constantly changing. 95% of the time it's pouring rain. There's a lot of cloud, but it's atmospheric, and there's something about just being out in these conditions. It is absolutely uplifting. It's fantastic to be out. It can be challenging, but it's definitely uplifting. But I love capturing these moody photographs. Now, I'll always shoot at sunrise, sunset. I'll shoot on shoot in weather which is more pleasant, of course. I love shooting in fog and mist and all those sorts of things. But these really difficult, challenging days, I personally love the results. I'm not convinced average members of the public, so to speak, or non-photographers rather, who just look at the photographs, they might not find such appeal in them as they would, a sunny day photograph. But for me as a photographer, I love capturing and viewing images in really moody atmospheric conditions. I just love some of the looks that you can get. And often in that transition period where the rain, if it briefly stops, you can get some really nice sunlight or breaks in the cloud, and the light can be quite special, so I really like that. And yeah, it's looking fantastic at the moment. I'm really liking the look of the sun on this little outcrop just below me here, but by the time I get my camera out, that could well change. But yeah, I see a couple of compositions here, at least two that I want to take. I want to take the mountain off in the distance. There's a ship going past it at the moment. I really like the lines, the diagonal lines, and it looks very moody. And I'm going to take a shot of this rock here just beneath me. So yeah, I'll get my camera and grab these shots and I'll let you have a look at them. So hopefully you can see over to the left here how the light is now hitting that outcrop. So I've grabbed my camera and I'm going to try and quickly frame this one up. We've got that really nice light that's just broken through after the rain hitting this outcrop, and then we've got the dark moody mountains in the background which have started to reveal themselves. So a really nice contrast there. So I'm going to get my shot framed up. And in days like these, it's all about being in the right place at the right time, being patient and being ready to react to the conditions that you can see in front of you. Off to the far right, possibly not in the field of view of the video camera, but the sun is breaking through the clouds off in that direction as well. There's some nice light rays. Probably nothing that I feel like I want to photograph, but if you get that light breaking through the clouds in the correct spot, you really can get some fantastic special photographs. I'm just watching the light on this little outcrop here. It's quite subdued at the moment, but sometimes it just breaks out a little bit more and there's a bit more contrast in the scene, which I think is quite effective. So I'm going to hang around here at the moment. I can see rain blowing past those mountains off in the distance, so I'm going to switch my attention over in that direction. It looks fantastic. Try and get the composition framed up nicely. Ensure that I'm nicely focused, and that is really in sharp focus, and just minor adjustments to the composition and grab that shot. That looks fantastic to me. Very moody, very atmospheric, a moody sky. So yeah, hopefully that will turn out quite nice. Now the light has gone, and I suspect in a couple of minutes we'll have some rain again, but anyway, I'll show you the images that I've captured here.
This is the first image I took of the scene which was in front of me. While I never thought it would end up being a fantastic photograph, it definitely interested me enough to be worth photographing. Also, it's a good example of what I talked about at the beginning of this video, and how these changeable conditions can transform a scene, as this second photograph shows. I feel that the light on the land improves the photograph and makes this a better version.
So just as I thought, the rain has came back on again, and it's very changeable. I'm sure it will pass again in a little while, but I may have to endure quite a soaking. But off in this direction, I think there is going to be potentially a really nice shot. And what I'm thinking about doing here is taking a panoramic image using my telephoto lens, a few shots, stitching them together, and I think it's going to be a really nice scene. Unfortunately at the moment, because of the rain, it's obscuring a lot of the distant peaks, so there's really no point taking it at the moment. And as I talk, it's just getting more and more clouded over in that direction, so it's something I'll have to keep my eye on. And when the moment's right, I'm going to try and grab a few shots, and they'll stitch together nicely in Lightroom. So we'll keep an eye on that. But while we're waiting on that, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about these conditions and why I enjoy them, and give a few thoughts about the types of gear that I use to tackle weather conditions such as this, and which lens I like to use. But obviously it's a joy to be out. It's very atmospheric and uplifting, and hopefully a lot of that will come across in the final images. But I think the ultimate thing, or the best thing to do to ensure you're prepared and can face being out in conditions like this, is to wear appropriate clothing. So you need to have waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket, a hat or a hood, and waterproof cover on your camera bag as well. Try and keep everything nice and dry. Bring plenty of lens cloths, perhaps a towel for your hands as well. And a hot drink doesn't go amiss either when it's winter and cold and raining and wet. The other thing that can be very useful, as I touched on earlier, is some type of plastic cover or a shower cap that can go over your camera, just to keep your camera and lens dry. And what I like to use in conditions such as this is a telephoto lens. So I use the Fuji 50 to 140 millimeter lens, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic lens regardless of conditions. I think it's really important when you're starting out to have a wide angle that covers starting at wide angle moves up into the standard focal lengths, so up to about say 50 millimeters in full frame terms. But I really think it's so important to have a telephoto lens. I use it an awful lot, and it's the only lens I'm going to use today. It's just fantastic because the conditions and the scenery is being hidden and revealed by the weather conditions. There's fantastic pockets of light, there's atmospheric clouds, there's ships going past. I typically just concentrate on using one lens, the telephoto lens, leave it on my camera at all times. And the 50 to 140 is a fantastic Fuji lens. It's very well made. It's got OIS stabilization, and that is very handy. So typically in a day like this, I will shoot handheld all the time, turn on the stabilization, and I get really nice sharp images, able to keep the ISO fairly low, and it's just a fantastic lens. I've never been disappointed with the images I've captured using that lens, in terms of their quality at least. The other good thing about a telephoto lens for conditions such as this is generally they have a nice large lens hood, so you're able to protect the front element somewhat from raindrops. If you're shooting sort of side on or away from the direction that the rain's coming, or if the rain's falling straight down, your front element's going to stay nice and clean, and that is important. But yeah, over the years, in conditions such as this, or if I'm going on hikes and that, I just find myself using a telephoto lens more and more. I think they're a fantastic asset to have in your landscape photography kit. So yeah, I'm going to be using it again, hopefully very soon, because it seems to be clearing just a little bit. It's now been an hour and 20 minutes since I last spoke to the camera, and I've basically been standing sheltering with my hood up just off to the side here. Very little shelter, but the best I can find. And yeah, I've been waiting on this scene to appear. Just after my last section in this video ended, it just came on pouring rain. It's just been bouncing off my head for the last hour and 20 minutes. Everywhere is closed in. I couldn't see a thing off in this direction or anywhere, just thick grey cloud and heavy torrential rain. And this is the very most I've been able to see of this scene in the last hour and 20 minutes by a long way. I mean, I couldn't see out to sea or anything. It was just thick cloud and rain everywhere. However, I am starting to see glimpses of what I saw before, and it does look like there will be a good shot here, so I really need some luck. Fingers crossed it will continue clearing. I just need 5 minutes, not even that, just to grab this shot, because I've got the composition in mind. I just need it to clear. Oh, come on. Okay, the scene is now revealing itself, and this is the best it's looked at the moment. There's a mix of atmosphere, cloud, some light. We've even got a ship coming across in the scene, which is fantastic. So I'm going to take my panoramic image, and we'll grab that now quick as possible before potentially the rain comes on and the clouds come back in and we can't see anything. So I'm going to take the shot. That's the first image, and I'm going to overlap by roughly a third. Shot number 2, shot number 3, shot number 4, and I'm just going to go a little bit extra, shot number 5, just in case I need it. So I'm really pleased. I could have ended up just leaving this area and not got this image, and the light's getting even better, so I'm going to take another set here just to make sure I've got everything. It looks fantastic. Just try and capture the best of the light, the best of the scene, and obviously that ship is going to be nice as well in the water. So shot number 1, turn the camera around a bit, shot number 2, shot number 3, shot number 4, and shot number 5, just to make sure I've got everything. So a couple of things I'd like to talk about here. I could probably take this handheld, but because the rain has went off, because I'm shooting a panoramic image and I want to keep the camera as level as possible, I'm shooting it on my tripod, and I'm also shooting it horizontally rather than what I would typically do, shoot in a vertical or portrait orientation. The reason for that is that I'm working as quickly as possible. I'm trying to capture the scene, so I'm taking as few shots as possible, and simply I don't need to shoot in a portrait orientation for this. I'm more than happy shooting it horizontally, and I'm going to have plenty of megapixels, and I'm going to be able to print this really huge if I like how the shot turns out. There's some nice light over there on that hill. It just seems to be improving, so I'm going to take another series of 5 images. So I won't bore you watching me do that again, but the light is really nice, so I'm going to show you my final result, the one I like best. But yeah, perseverance has definitely paid off. I'm so pleased that I hung around. I could have just left this scene, but anyway, I'll grab this and I'll show you my favourite. So that scene which I was just photographing, taking a panoramic image, I think I managed to get off a set of 4 and then it simply clouded over. But you can see off in the distance here, off in the horizon, some beautiful light and clouds just forming there. I may actually consider taking a quick handheld shot of that.
I'll interrupt myself here to show you the other images that I captured on this changeable day.
Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I hope it's provided you with some encouragement to head out when it's cloudy, raining, and just see what you can capture. So just make sure your camera is protected if necessary. Protect yourself, keep yourself dry with some good waterproof clothing. Keep your backpack protected, put on its waterproof cover, and shoot with your telephoto lens and handheld if possible, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it and capture some nice images. But I may grab a quick shot of this and then it's time for me to head off. So thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.